Today's video is all about spring cleaning for your kitchen. So I want to go through different foods you can swap out, not giving up your favorite things, but just make cleaner, healthier alternatives. In today's video, I've got a lot of common foods. I purposely wanted to do this video on common foods because I feel like a lot of times when I mention eating well or eating clean or eating healthy, people assume that you have to cut out some of your favorite things or it's going to be very restrictive, and it's really not. I'm sure if you've seen my other videos, you know that I like to eat really normal food just in a cleaner way. So I wanted to share examples. I've got them all laid out here of the healthier version, and I will go through and explain the unhealthier version. In the past, I used to have the unhealthy one next to it, but then I wouldn't eat it and I felt like that was wasteful, so maybe I can just pop it on the screen. So everything I got in this video is from Thrive Market. I was able to find all of my clean alternatives there. I mean, you guys probably know from my other videos, I buy all of my superfoods, cleaning supplies, everything from Thrive Market because it's like a one-stop shop. They've got all the clean options. You can search by diet type, by like searching for vegan and organic, and there's so many different categories you can search for. So I will make sure to link everything below. I also have my own little shop at Thrive with things that I buy, like literally all of my items, and I have them in my own little storefront. So I'll put the link below for that too. And let's just get to the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is marinara sauce. So marinara sauce, tomato sauce, I actually use it all the time. I like to use it as a saute instead of oil because you're not using as much fat. I just think it's so versatile. I'll do it with like tempeh. But unfortunately, a lot of other processed, traditional kinds of marinara sauce come with canola oil with added sugars. I think the one thing that most people know that can make it unhealthy is the added sugars. So that's already one thing. But there's also so many other additives that other companies will buy simply to make it last longer, maybe to change the color, to give it like a little bit of extra flavor. But I would take normal flavor over added toxins any day. So this one from Thrive Market is really simple, super clean. The ingredients are just whole peeled tomatoes, onions, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, sea salt, black pepper, and basil. So the sugar is 3 grams of sugar, just naturally what comes from tomatoes. It's really clean. I actually think this is a great swap for a lot of different condiments you might have in your cabinets. I would go through and see. It's really easy to tell if something isn't clean. Just look on the back, and as soon as you start seeing the ingredients that aren't a whole food, that's not a garlic, a spice, a tomato, something like that, it's probably a good swap. And like I said, naturally low fat, super easy, and it's just very versatile. So the next one I want to talk about is pasta. So pasta is such an easy one to swap out now. I feel like years ago we did not have these options, but there's truly no excuse. And especially if you want to help your parents or maybe your older family members that have been using traditional pasta for years and don't know that it could taste just as good, you've got to have them try like a lentil pasta, brown rice pasta, quinoa pasta. One of the keys here is to make sure that it's gluten-free, and you can get naturally gluten-free pasta with any of these. The other thing is not even just the gluten, it's more the actual ingredient that goes into the pasta. So if you're eating just like a traditional white pasta that uses flour, the glycemic index is the main concern here. Basically, glycemic index is how quickly your blood sugar spikes. You don't want foods that are gonna spike it up really fast. This isn't healthy. This ends up, your insulin gets all thrown off balance. Your insulin controls all your other hormones. So sugar can actually affect everything. So if you compare that to lentil pasta, it's full of protein, full of fiber. It's gonna keep you full longer. I mean, it's just such a no-brainer because it's so easy to swap out and you can literally eat pasta guilt-free. So I like to get lentil pasta the most, but then if not, I can do like a quinoa pasta, there's chickpea pasta, there's edamame pasta. Literally, it just goes on and on. So you can even go to Thrive and see if you like any other, bases, but all the options are there. So that's another good one. And pasta is a good one to just keep in the house for like your emergency food. If you have nothing else to make and you don't want to order takeout and you want to stay healthy, it just takes 10-15 minutes to boil and you can have an easy dinner with your pasta and marinara sauce. So these are perfect ones to keep in the cabinet that naturally stay, good for a while without preservatives. The next one I want to talk about is swapping out plain oatmeal for the flavored oatmeal. So I've probably talked about a lot of these in previous videos because, this is how I eat. So none of this is a big surprise here. I'm just kind of bunching it all into one video. But oatmeal in general is very healthy, but when it's unfortunate because foods start out really healthy and you think you're making the right choice, but then all the additives they add to it. So when you buy sweetened oatmeal, it's usually sweetened with more than one kind of sugar, and it's usually a low quality sugar. It could be like just cane sugar, it could be like glucose syrups, like the list goes on. And a lot of times they have that scary natural flavors, which natural flavors is something you always want to avoid if you can, because the range of what it can cover is pretty scary. So always get plain oatmeal, a super easy swap. I actually wanted to show you guys this one specifically because these are still the individual packs and they're still instant oatmeal. Let me open it. I just wanted to show you that not all of these swaps have to be like this big thing, like you have to get these things in bulk or like, you know, change up like the convenience of it. You can still have it super easy on the go. It's just plain. And then you can add your cinnamon, you could add your monk fruit or stevia, anything you want, but it's that easy of a switch. And if you have kids, this is a really great one to even just start to incorporate when they're young. Even though the flavored one tastes better, just start them off with this, mash a banana inside, like add some cinnamon and nutmeg. Like they will not know the difference at the end of the day when, you know, it's all flavored with like the natural sweeteners that you're adding. The next one I want to share is Nutritional yeast. And this is an amazing substitute for any kind of like cheese, whether it's Parmesan cheese that kind of looks the same in a powder or really any cheese you use for cooking. So even if you're not vegan or plant-based or dairy-free, I recommend that you at least go dairy-free. I always tell people, if there's one change you could make first, it's to eliminate dairy. There's for a few reasons. Number one, it's very easy to do now. We've got amazing alternatives. And number two, it's just so bad for you. There's so many negatives that come with it. I know a lot of people think that dairy has calcium and it's good for your bones. You know, milk does the body good, but it's actually kind of a scam. So here's what happens when you're eating dairy or drinking milk or any kind of dairy really. Basically, it's acidic, and when your body processes it, it tries to go into compensation mode to become alkaline. So your body's always trying to compensate for any of the bad stuff we do to it or anything we're doing. It's trying to kind of come to homeostasis and stability. So your body will try to overcompensate and literally pull calcium out of your bones. So your bones is where you store calcium. And calcium by nature is an antacid. So if you go to the pharmacy and you take like a Tums and you look on the back, you'll see it's just calcium carbonate. So calcium on its own is an antacid. So if you're eating dairy and acidic things, your body wants to try to neutralize it, and it ends up pulling calcium out of your bones to kind of act as an antacid to get rid of this like acidic reaction it's getting. Then you end up losing some of the calcium in your bones. So I always think that's a really good analogy to share, that even though you might be drinking calcium, you're actually depleting your bones of calcium. So Nutritional yeast, I really like this brand by Bragg. They fortify it. It's got a lot of B12, B6, B2. Your B12, what's the percentage it has? 40% of your B12 requirement in 1 tablespoon. It's so good. I literally sprinkle it on top of salads, popcorn. I'll use it when I'm making like a vegan mac and cheese. There's so many things you can do. You can just Google like Nutritional yeast cheese substitute and find a bunch of things. But it's a great one, a great staple to have in the house, and you can replace cheese with this one. The next swap is almond butter. So this is just a plain raw almond butter. So this goes for any nut butter. There's so many great ones out there, but unfortunately a lot of them are roasted, salted. Some of them even had added oil, which is really ridiculous because nuts on their own have some, I mean, look, you can even see the oil in this. It like kind of droops around because nuts are full of natural oil. So if you're gonna have any kind of nut butter, I recommend it's always raw, unsalted, unroasted. That's my rule for even eating almonds, walnuts. Obviously, like the flavored ones might taste better, but I look at this as a healthy snack, and if you're gonna go healthy, you might as well actually get the full health benefits. So this brand is amazing. It's called Artisana. I really like it. It kind of has like a crunchier texture. It's great raw and just versatile for anything. So next I want to talk about Siete. I wanted to share this one because I think there's such an amazing swap. I love this product so much. Tortilla chips generally have lots of fat, like usually a lot of canola oil. It's not even so much the fat content, it's the kind of fat they use to make them. So they're deep fried, unhealthy fats, and on top of that, they're often full of grains. I definitely eat grains. I mean, I have grains in this video, I have oatmeal, but I like to do a little trick where I can substitute them in a healthy way, I will. So that kind of helps me limit them indirectly, if that makes sense. Like quinoa, I feel like there's not many non-grain substitutes for it. I really like the benefits of quinoa. I like that it has like the fiber and protein, and I just love it. It works well for me. Tortilla chips I don't need. Like that's a grain that's unnecessary, and if it's not made from grains and it's made from corn, oftentimes the corn is GMO. So there's a lot of reasons to avoid them. These are delicious. Like I don't think anyone watching this won't like them. They have so many different flavors. They've even got like a cool ranch and nacho cheese. The nacho cheese I'm pretty sure uses nutritional yeast because they're all plant-based. But they're paleo, vegan, gluten-free. They're made with avocado oil, and it uses cassava root. So you're still getting that like carby chip, but no grains and no unhealthy toxic oils. So definitely try this one. Next, let's talk about rice cakes. So this is kind of a good one to sub out for bread every once in a while. Now I still like eating bread, but I like it when it has its time and place. Like I like a really fresh bread, if I make like an avocado toast and every once in a while. But when it comes to snacking, like middle of the day, all the time, I don't like to have too much bread. It can get a bit heavy. I really like rice cakes. They're plain on their own, but sometimes they're just so easy to grab and go. I actually love doing like an almond butter on a rice cake, just like a really thin layer. Just a really good snack. And sometimes it's all about just that crunch. I actually love using these in place of chips, like in a sandwich or something, or if you just want to crunch in your salad, you can just kind of take advantage of their texture and crunchiness and just something to quickly fill you up. And they're just really clean and simple. That's my favorite thing. And this one actually is a multi-grain rice cake. It's got organic brown rice, flaxseed, caraway seeds, millet, and that's it. So this is a good product too. So the next one I want to share is coconut aminos. This is a great substitute for soy sauce if you're making stir fries or anything that you would normally use soy sauce for. So soy sauce naturally has a lot of salt and it's high in histamines, which can be very toxic if you're eating too much of it. And the problem with soy sauce is you usually want a good amount. If you ever look at the serving, it's actually like 1 teaspoon or something really tiny, and the amount of salt is like half the salt you should have for the day. So coconut aminos are really amazing. They're actually made from the sap of the coconut. I like coconut nectar. I like fresh coconut. There's lots of different things we can find from a coconut. But just swapping it out for soy sauce can like reduce your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure. There's a lot of great benefits. So this is just a good, healthy one to even sneak into your parents' house. You should just pour it into like a dish and then like not even tell them. It's my favorite thing to do with healthy food is not tell people and just serve it, and then they don't know, and then you have them sold. Some people are just stuck in their ways, but once they try it, they can't deny that it's good. Okay, next, let's go to ketchup. This one is huge. Ketchup is one of those things that a lot of people will now be like, oh, it's not good for you, avoid it. Ketchup on its own is just tomatoes. Like there's nothing wrong with what ketchup should be. It's what like Heinz ketchup has made it out to be. If you just compare the ingredients of like a Heinz ketchup bottle to this one, it's pretty crazy. Like this one, what does it have? Organic tomato concentrate, organic balsamic vinegar. That's the bulk of it. Amazing. Less than 2% salt, organic onion powder, garlic powder, and organic spices. Sugar's 1 gram. This is just regular old ketchup. Great. I actually wrote down what is in Heinz ketchup. It is tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup, regular corn syrup, salt, spices, onion powder, and natural flavors, if that wasn't enough. So you just don't need the high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup, not necessary. Switch over to regular ketchup, and it's a great one. So the next swap I want to talk about is pancake mix. I'm actually so excited about this product. I love that this is just like an almond flour pancake mix, because I make pancakes on my own a lot, but sometimes I don't feel like it, like blending, the almond flour and this and doing all of it myself. The fact that there's like a quick one so you can just like make them easily, but it's clean ingredients. So the base of the ingredients in this one is almonds and coconut. So you're not getting like the flour, the white flour, the extra additives. It's super clean, easy, fast. If you look at the back of like a Bisquick, I'm actually gonna read the ingredients of Bisquick pancakes. Enriched bleached flour, partially hydrogenated soybean and or cottonseed oil, dextrose, salt, baking soda, sodium aluminum phosphate, monocalcium phosphate. I actually want to go back to the enriched bleach flour to just tell you what that means. Basically, they will take flour, bleach it with toxic chemicals to make the color more white. Then they will enrich it with all the things that any of the nutrients that were in the flour, they basically add back because they just bleached it. So definitely avoid that when you can. It's so easy. There's so many amazing pancake recipes you can make. There's so many you can make from scratch, but because that can take a little time and effort, and sometimes I know you just want something quick, this one's amazing. It's also gluten-free, just a great alternative. Low in sugar, try it out. And the last two that I want to share in the food category, these are just examples. This one is organic dried apple rings, and this one is organic raw almonds. This is all about making your own trail mix. So trail mix, again, the theory is very healthy, but when you actually look at how it comes and the ingredients that come in it, most of the nuts are like drenched in oil. If you look, they're all like, you know, they're not raw. Even if they're roasted, it'd be better, but they usually have oils. They usually have a bunch of dried fruit that's also not added sugar to it, like whether it's raisins or cherries. It's not just the natural sugar that comes from fruit, which is plenty sweet. On top of that, a lot of them have like chocolate chips, M&Ms, different things. You can make your own super clean trail mix. Buy any kind of nut you want, seeds. You could add goji berries to this. You could add dried apple rings. You could even get like Lily's dark chocolate chips, the vegan ones, and add those in. So you could totally make this your own. And that kind of brings me to my next thing on spring cleaning. Making your food more presentable and your kitchen more organized is just so big. It will make you eat healthier, I promise you, when everything has its space and you know where to go to reach for it, and it's laid out like more beautifully, I promise you you'll want to reach for it more. So just like a quick example of this one, I have these little mason jars, which are very inexpensive. You can like have these. They smell good. You can also get little mini mason jars too. I'm actually gonna get one more variation to add in here. So have these little pumpkin seeds. You could get little tiny mason jars and like label each of them. You can just, they're so cute. You can label each one, just have them, and you could even have them just like here, and every once in a while, you go grab some, just pour a few in your hand. You got your own little trail mix. All of them are raw, no added sugars, and it's still a really healthy, like filling, energizing snack. You're not giving anything up. You're just, we're going back to clean. The whole point of this is to really teach you guys how to take everything kind of back to the basics and eat the food that you like, but in its clean form and in its natural form. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is cleaning supplies and how to basically detox the things that you wash your dishes with that end up going into your mouth. You know, you're touching them, so your food is touching it. So we have to pay attention to little things like this, especially like things we're cleaning the surface with, like if you have kids and they're touching it. These are all little things that we never thought about before. I think we assume that if it's on the shelf, it's safe, but we know better now that that's not true. So Thrive Market has so many great options for that. Better Life is a great one. I've been using this spray for a while. These are the little automated dish detergent powders. So you can, I mean, there's so many different options on there. I can list a few other ones below this video. So if you look at either of these, you can see all the things that they're free from. Let me find this. No alcohol, no solvents, no synthetic fragrances, no dyes, no parabens, no SLS, no SLES. This one is safe for septic tank, compostable, phthalate-free, paraben-free, free of dyes, free of color additives. We don't need dyes and color additives and fragrances added into things that we just want to help us stay clean. Like, that's not the point. You know, if you're wearing perfume, that's one thing, that's hard. But, you know, for this stuff, we just want to make sure that we're healthy because it's things that we use every single day. So that's why it's so important. I hope you guys like this little spring cleaning video. It's kind of spring, summers, and summer's coming up. But everything I use in this video, I will link below. It's all from Thrive Market. I'll make sure to link each item individually if you want to search for that. And I'll also put my link below so that you can get a free 30-day trial and 25% off your first order. I like buying all this stuff on Thrive instead of going to the store because it's 30% less than most traditional grocery stores, and it's the exact same quality, sometimes even the exact same brand as I could find at like a health food store. So I will put all that information below. If you guys have any questions on any of these or recipes or anything, let me know. And if you like more of these little detox videos, I can try to do some more theme like that. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.